Hello fellow astro enthusiasts. I was showing a picture of my version of the Dark Shark Nebula taken with the Dwarf 3 smart telescope that sits right behind me from my home terrace in Slovakia from Bortle 4 location. So initially I have stacked and processed the picture in PixInsight, but today I decided I would like to reprocess this result using free software alternatives that are available, and I have chosen the SETI Astro Suite PRO. So I have chosen SETI Astro Suite PRO as a free alternative to PixInsight. You can download the SETI Astro Suite PRO from the site setiastro.com. Frank is doing tutorials, so it's his software that gets constantly updated, and the updates are really frequent. For the SETI Astro Suite PRO, when you open it, you usually come into the Preferences tab by default, and you have to make sure that you have installed those three softwares that we will be using while processing. So first one is Grexpert. Go to grexpert.com to install it. Install the standalone version. Then based on the StarNet, you also have scripts for PixInsight, but here you should be installing it as an application. This is this link, standalone command line interface, download based on version of operating system that you are using, and ASTAP is here. Links will be provided. So when you make it through the initial setup process, you can open the file that I will be sharing with you. So it's a master file of the Dark Shark Nebula. That's 28 hours of exposure worth in it. So this image shows just the crop that was automatically done by PixInsight while stacking. You can always do the stacking in other free software like Swirl or Deep Sky Stacker, or even the ASTAP that you have downloaded. And we can see when we're displaying the stretch, the master file, how it looks like. I can do the vertical flip to have the proper orientation. This is a neat feature from SETI Astro Suite PRO, because when you do this in PixInsight, when you are changing the geometry of the picture, it will automatically lose astrometric solution, and this is not the case for SETI Astro Suite PRO, so thumbs up. So let's start with the processing. Frank recommends to check the histogram to see if you have any minimum values that are higher than 0, and if you have, he recommends to press this pedestal icon. What this pedestal icon does is it will lower the values to start from 0, and if you toggle the x-axis, you can see before the pedestal removal, the green, red and blue channels were spread apart, and when you apply the pedestal, it unifies them into around same values. As a next step, we should be running automatic background extraction. This is this icon, and here you can tell SETI Astro Suite PRO what you would like to use as a background extraction. So for example, I know that the nebulosity is about here, and I can tell it to extract the background and remove the gradient, but exclude the area that I have drawn in green. It's being applied. Now we have lost the stretch. Okay, that's the background, and that's our shark. The next step he recommends is pressing the background neutralization, and we can also enable auto stretch in the preview. We can find ideal background point, which was pointed towards the left upper corner, and we will just apply the neutralization. What we are doing next is to apply the white balance on the stars, or in PixInsight it's called spectrometric color calibration that we are doing. I can cross this color matrix white balance because I do not have the narrowband image. It's a broadband target. We can keep it like this. We can see it detects 2700 stars, and what this does is will balance the RGB based on the plate solve. It knows which star is which and which color it should have, and it will apply these RGB color mappings based on the information that it has about the stars. It did that, and at this point we have color calibrated stars. Background is extracted, and I would like to copy to create a duplicate version of this file. So I have two files now. One we will use with the free tools, and the second one will be with the paid plugins. Let's start with the free version. Instead of BlurXTerminator, we can use aberration correction, which is basically making the stars tighter. So when we run it and zoom it, we can see that the stars got corrected. Here is before, and here is after. So you can see that the cometish shape of the stars was removed. You can then run either Cosmic Clarity, which is sharpening and denoise tool. However, I have processed this picture during the trial several times, and I wasn't able to get a proper version of this picture with using Cosmic Clarity. This is why I turned to GrExpert, and we can see that GrExpert we can use for remove gradient or denoise, and this is what we are going to do. And I would like to put fairly aggressive denoise at 0.85. This will take a while because this is a longer process. So now the picture changed significantly, and we can see before. Here we can see that there is noise, and after some of it was removed, not all. Now in the next step I would like to use the StarNet to remove the stars and stretch the stars separately, and also the background, and then apply some curves on the background. So for the StarNet, we can see it here. You can use also Cosmic Clarity Dark Star removal if you don't want to use StarNet, but StarNet is superior. Okay, it asks, StarNet asks now if this image is linear. We haven't stretched it, so yes, it is linear. We do have the star version and the starless version. As you can see, there remained a few artifacts, and for example, this one has also a halo plus a greenish tint around it that wasn't there before. You see this area, but let's work with what we have. This is unstretched image. To stretch it, we have this icon. This is the star stretch, and we can see how it would stretch the stars with the default values. I like to have more stars in my images, so I just crank up the setting a bit, and I also like to boost the colors. We can check, yeah, and I think I like this better. This is our stretch on the stars. we can always apply curves and saturation on the stars if you want to boost. As you can see, it changes the color of the stars, so we can maybe add more. Okay, it was added, and now we're going to stretch the starless image. That's the icon right next to it, meaning statistical stretch. And what I do like about it, so let's reset to the default values, is that it can remember the parameters that you have used. Basically, you can start and see what it changes each parameter. So for example, I don't like this black clipping, but I like HDR, I like a luminance layer on this, curves boost, and so on. So you can play with it, and once you have found the setting that you liked, for example, you can load it and it will apply the stretch based on your pre-saved setting. This is the one I would like to go, so I have lowered the median and played with those settings. I'm fine with this stretch and I can just apply it. Okay, now I would like to go into curves and play with the overall brightness of the picture. We see that the darkest parts are around 0.9, and I would like to keep those low and apply maybe a slight S-curve. About adding more, something like that. I just not want the details lost in the background, but at the same time I don't want to overstretch. Yeah, let's do like this, and maybe we can add also some saturation to the shark. Okay, I think that's good. And now we just need to combine those two, starless and stars view. So let's go to the star icon with the plus sign. The starless view is the drizzle, and the stars view is the stars. And here you can play also with this slider to change the blend amount of the stars if you would like to have it less, but I like to have it at a maximum. So here we are. This is our processed image of the Dark Shark Nebula using completely free tools. Let's do now the same, but with the paid plugins. Here we have RC Astro, and let's start with the first one, which is the BlurXTerminator at default values. Previously we have used the aberration, which corrects the stars only, but BlurXTerminator is also sharpening the non-stellar part, which is then done by the cosmic clarity that I did not use, I know. NoiseXTerminator default values. Okay, NoiseXTerminator has been applied, and now we need to remove the stars. Now we are done with the paid tools. We can do the star stretch on the stars image. So again, this icon, what was it, 6.5, 1.4 if I recall correctly, apply to document. And as you can see, the starless version looks a bit better because it removed the stars. Yeah, this one was not removed, but This is unfortunately not the whole star, so yeah, I think it's a much better result. Let's just quickly compare. So this is the stars removed version by StarNet and StarXTerminator. Let's continue with the curves. No. We need to stretch this image. Stretch starless. And again, I will be using the preset that I have stored for this Dark Shark. And here you can see the settings. Apply. And again, curves. We are adjusting the curves a bit. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to overstretch it and over-process it. Maybe adding also a bit saturation. Okay, saturation added. I haven't saturated these stars, but yeah, let's do it. So apply saturation also on the stars. Just a bit. And the final step is merge those two images. So we have the result duplicate, plus the result duplicate stars. And here we are. So this is our stars view using free tools, and this is paid tools. Let me just quickly save the pictures. So let's do this SAS free and save it as a JPEG. For the purposes of this video, JPEG is fine, otherwise I would save it as a FIT. And the same, let's do it as SASRC. And let's compare those. Where are we? Here. This is the full screen of the free version. And this is the blur, noise and StarXTerminator. Again, free, paid, free, paid. As you can see, the color, the stars were much more better controlled in the BlurXTerminator version. However, I still think the SAS is doing a good job. I mean, this is a free tool, and this is free tool plus paid plugins. I think if I would just open the version that I have had from PixInsight, the difference is not much. Yeah, this is more into the yellowish green colors. Yeah, I played more with the curves and saturation, and yeah, I spent much more time on this than on the tutorial version. I think that's a very decent result for coming from a smart telescope and free software. Yeah, just to be clear, this is a free software plus free plugins. So here we are. And we have processed the Dark Shark Nebula using free software and free tools, and free software and paid tools. So which one do you like better, and would you like to give it a try? You can try the free version immediately. I'll put the links to the master file and to all the tools that you need for performing this processing as you wish, and I hope you have liked this video. If you did so, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. This encourages me to create more such videos in the future, and see you next time.